Was this the best tax move ever? I'll never forget this. Just got off the phone with a lady. We'll call her Fran. All right, Fran. 68-year-old lady, nice lady up in California, just crushing. Legendary, single. Got about $1.5 million in her retirement accounts and tax deferred. And so we're pulling some, is there any strategies to avoid Irma, any strategy? And it's just not much you can do. She's single, no kids. So leaving tax-free inheritance is in her huge importance. She doesn't spend that much money. She doesn't have any debt. She's just a legend. I mean, she worked at the same job for many, many years. Yeah, just a great lady. Freaking, she has a couple dogs. She goes, I don't know how I end up with two. I said, because I always end up with two. Just funny. Yeah, but she's great. So I was like, it's just not much to do here, man. You know, she got hit a little bit with Irma this year. She's like, oh, man. I said, it's just not much to do. I said, yeah, you're going to pay higher taxes in the future, higher tax rate. You'll see it goes from basically she's in a 15% effective tax rate now. She's 68, so when she's 73, it'll go to, I think it was 15 to 17 to 17.2, 17.4. And the reason it grows is because RMDs get bigger. Irma will be a bigger impact, not much, but still, she'll be hit with Irma for the rest of her life. I said, she goes, maybe I should just do one fell swoop and be done with it. I said, no, I get it. I can't recommend that though, but I get it. People do that. And for me as a professional, I can't recommend doing that, but I get it. I get the feeling for that, but I couldn't recommend that. Because we don't even know if you're going to be alive tomorrow. We just don't know. But we do know that, they're paying the lowest taxes now that you ever will. Each year you'll pay more progressively, especially when RMDs kick in. But it called to mind, I'll never forget these wonderful people up in New York. Paul and Paul and Mallory. We'll call her Mallory. When the hell I think of that? What's that chick from Mallory from what the hell is that show called with Alex B. Keaton? Family Ties? Oh man. Yeah, Meredith Baxter Burney. Man, what a smoke show there. What's the other chick? Justine Bateman. And she never did much for me. People are like, she's so hot. It's like, nah, I don't think so. I said the mom was freaking smoking hot. So we'll call it Paul and Mallory. I don't know why I thought Mallory on top of my head. Kind of weird. Anyway, whatever happened to Meredith Baxter Burney, by the way? Is she still good looking? I don't know. All right, so we got Paul and Mallory, and they lived in New York State, Long Island to be specific. They had about $1 million in their 401k, one of my clients in 2011. 2011, if memory serves, Elliot Spitzer was still governor of New York State. And this is when we thought Obama was going to get rid of the estate tax, not get rid of it, but make it come back to where it used to be $675. New York State had $1 million estate tax back then, and these guys were about the same age as Fran, about 68 years old right now. I don't know if they're still alive. I haven't talked to them in years. But we're trying to think about some ways to reduce future taxation. And this is the time where you could convert money in 2011 and pay taxes over 2 years, 2012 and 2013. Because remember, at this stage, the Republicans didn't have the Senate, but they had the House. But the Obama, he ran roughshod on the tax code in 2009 and 10. All right, so in 2011, it looked like things were going to revert back to 2003. Because of the initial sunset, let me get popular. The sunset of the bill of the Bush tax cuts. Oh, you got him. Thanks, buddy. Oh, is he out? Happy? Is you happy? Can you hear that? Yeah, I know. I just ate a cookie. So we had the initial sunsetting. This is the first time we ever had sunsetting of the tax bill, at least I'm aware of, from the Bush tax cuts in 2003, maybe 2001. I can't remember. It must be 2001. Anyway, and so that was leading to a lot of consternation of people who are going to get whopped because this is going to go back to pre-Bush tax cuts. A state tax of $675 exemption. New York had a state tax of $1 billion. Income taxes are going to go higher. All that stuff. So I remember Paul and Mallory saying, we're just going to convert everything. I said, man, and they're going to pay tax over 2012, 2013. I said, I don't think you should do that because you're going to get walloped on that those 2 years. Essentially, I think they lost $300,000 to $400,000 in income tax, but they did it anyway against my better discretion. It's their money. You know what I'm saying? I don't manage money. I just tell them what I think. So let's see what happened if we did this. So I just want to point out something here. So here they are, January 2011 to where we are today. If you had $1 million and you just had in VTI, and they were aggressive in index funds, it's actually funny because I don't want to say much more, but they're aggressive. Had $1 million in VTI, just use that for example. That right now is now worth 5.7 million bones, amigos. The compounded annual growth rate is 13%. 13%, dude. It's freaking nuts. Worst year in 2022, down 19.58. Max drawdown, I'm not sure when that was, but that might be right here. That might be right there. But anyway, 25%. And yet they're still up from 1 million to 5.7 million. All right, so now we'll say they lost. We'll say, but remember, that's all now going to be subject to taxation. IRMA, income tax, put all the Social Security tax, the whole thing. Remember that. Now let's say they did 600,000 net because they got to pay tax on that. All right, 600,000 net. All right, let's see what that would have come out to today. We're going to hit back to this portfolio. And I'm using valueinvesting.io. I'm a big fan, long time. Look at that. That 600,000 is worth $3.4 million today, all tax free. They lost 40%, but now they got $3 million of tax-free growth. Before they had $4.7 million of tax-deferred growth, which will be subject to massive amount of income taxes, massive amount of IRMA, all the other stuff that goes with it. All right, now we don't have to worry about the estate tax, the federal estate tax. I can't remember what the state of New York estate tax is. I don't remember. But either way, that right there, no worries about estate tax, all tax-free, no IRMA subject to it, no taxes to their kids, their heirs, nothing like that. All tax-free growth. Same compounded annual growth rate, but it grew tax-free. No RMDs, nothing. And by the way, they didn't actually pay $400,000 up front because were able to slice over 2 years. Dude, that's just fantastic. I mean, so we go from 4.7 million of growth tax deferred to 3 million tax-free growth. What would you rather have? Well, the growth of tax deferred doesn't show you all the income taxes, the IRMA, and all that comes with it. Growth tax-free doesn't show you that either. But you got to factor in Social Security is not tax-free. No IRMAs, no RMDs, all that stuff. Tax-free to your heirs. You die, tax-free to your spouse, to Mallory. It's probably the best move ever. Of course, we had no clue about that. So I'm talking to a friend today. I was like, yeah, I guess you could do that, but I just can't recommend that. She's not going to do it. But I was like, man. So Paul and Mallory, they timed it like a freaking champ. Legendary status achieved. You know, at the end of the day, you'll hear all these calculations. It's the exact same thing, pre-tax and post-tax. Those people don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm sorry. It's not the exact same thing, especially if you're married, especially if you got kids. It's just not. Especially if we got to factor in IRMA, Social Security tax, the whole thing, RMDs. It's not the exact same thing. It's just not. Because what's going on with Fran is, again, progressively her tax rates are going up, or effective tax rates going up because RMDs get bigger. It's just that simple, man. And as such, you're like, okay, you pay less on the front end, but you're going to pay more progressively each and every year thereafter. And you're going to pay more on IRMA. The whole thing is crazy. Anyway, so Paul Mallory will achieve legendary status. If we could all be as lucky or as skilled as them, we wouldn't need Warren Buffett, would we? All right, God bless. Love your thoughts. Smash that like button. And just look at my tan. Look at my pearly yellows. Look at all white. Oh, man. Getting a tan makes you look healthy. Get out there and get some sun, my friends. All right, God bless.